Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. Man, Joe Biden speaking in front of a bunch of black people. It's especially when he's alongside Kamala Harris. It's the worst thing. I gotta say, when Trump is doing it, and I'm biased. I like Trump. I want to see him as president, but I do feel like when he's in front of a black crowd, you can tell he's looking for their vote. Whereas when Biden and Kamala, which I'm going to show you a few clips, I got like 5 different clips where we're just going to have some fun with this one. When they're doing it, it really seems like they're trying to trick the audience. It really seems like they're trying to get the audience on their side in a very underhanded way. When Trump does it, at least you could tell. You could tell like this guy's like, I want this vote. And that's how it should be. Work for the vote. You're the president. Prove why people should be voting for you. Prove it. Whereas the Democrats have this thing where it's just like, I already own you guys. I'm just here to boost up some morale. That's all this is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's hear Kamala go at it first.
I'd like to address some of the biggest issues facing the black community, and we have delivered.
All right. Now, real quick, do you think she's talking about helping the crime rate go down? Do you think she's talking about helping children who may be fatherless? Do you think she's talking about helping the black community get jobs? Do you think she's talking about the gang violence? Do you think she's talking about the drugs? Those are the things really hurting the black community right now. Do you think she's talking about any of that? Maybe a little communication between the community and law enforcement so there can be a more cohesive relationship. You think she's talking about any of that? Here, take a guess. Let's guess.
In 2020, Joe Biden and I vowed that we would lower the cost of health care like insulin. For far too many years, too many of our seniors with diabetes had to make the awful decision about either filling their prescription or paying their rent. And black Americans are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. So we capped the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month. And under Joe Biden's leadership, finally, we took on Big Pharma and finally gave Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices.
They need the black vote of people who are under 30 and probably 30 to like 35, 36 years old. And the thing that they say the black community really needs is insulin. Do you know that's like you asked for a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. And your parents come through and they're like, "Here you go. Socks. Hey, it's wintertime. Socks are going to keep you warm. That play thing you were talking about? Nah, we got you socks. We got you 50 pairs of socks. You can wear a different pair every week. And then, there's 2 weeks where you'll have to wear the same pair. That's fine. There you go. Done. Socks. Insulin. That's the main thing. She's sitting there like, all of you blacks, all of you young blacks are more than likely going to get diabetes because we're not changing the healthcare system whatsoever. But you can have insulin for when your diabetes comes. And hopefully you get to keep your legs. Hopefully you get to keep your legs, ladies and gentlemen. They're doing something for the seniors. They need the vote of black people who are under 30. And they're like, let us tell you what we've done for the senior citizens. What? Oh my God. It's amazing to see. It's amazing when Kamala speaks. At least this wasn't word salad. This is just a straight sentence. They're bringing out the big guns. They're bringing out the big guns. When Kamala could just say words that actually go together and didn't have to repeat the same one 19 times. Hey, Trump has trouble coming his way. Trump has some trouble coming his way. Big Biden and Miss Harris brought the insulin out. I know how we'll get the black voters. How will we do it, Kamala? How will we do it? Let's just get them insulin. That's a great idea. Insulin. Like as if black people are living in the 1700s. You know what you guys need? You need insulin, and we got you some penicillin. You're going to be okay. Don't worry. You're going to be all right. What? Anything. I don't even give in to the narrative of police brutality. I don't give in to the whole there's a war on unarmed black men. And at least go there. At least bring up police. You did something there. I don't know. Anything other than insulin. Oh my gosh. You know what? You better arrest. You better get Trump in prison. You better have him in prison very soon, because that's the only way. And that might not even be enough. This is crazy. If insulin is what you open with, you better get him in jail immediately, because he's wiping the floor with you guys. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Let's move on to the next clip. Joe Biden letting black people know that it's much harder for them.
2020, throughout my career, and a lot of Philadelphians know this because I got so much help when I was running for the Senate in Delaware from Philly, black voters placed enormous faith in me. I've tried to do my best to honor that trust, staying true to the values set that we share, got me involved as a kid in the first place. Everyone's entitled to be treated with dignity and respect. Faith and family are everything, and we leave no one behind. Folks, I know it's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about, actually works for you. When justice is denied, how can it be working for you? When promises are broken, how can it be working for you? When you have to be 10 times better than everyone else to get the same shot, how can it be working for you? I get it. And I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I came today to speak the truth.
Biden just bringing that truth. When I was in Philadelphia, we had when I got started as a child. Huh? What'd you say? That was one word. That was all one word. What'd you say? Sorry. Say it again. One more time. He's sleeping. Hold on. Wake him up. Can you say it again, sir? It's so crazy that Biden saying it's 10 times harder for black people to do anything. I truly hate when I hear that, because that's an implanted thought. That's not true. But if you keep telling that to a group of people, they're going to think it's true. And some of them might even give up before they even have a chance to start. It's just, whenever I hear that, I don't give into that at all. Not even slightly. Not for a second. I have brothers. They don't give into that narrative. Everybody just works hard. Everybody excels. And we're doing better than some whites. We have a tally. We have a tally. All the white people. It's so crazy to do that with one people. It's 10 times harder for all of you. I know for a fact that it's 10 times harder for black people. I myself won't hire a black unless they're 10 times better than the average white. It's how I was raised. They have to be exemplary. That's why I had Barack as my vice president. He was my vice president, right? He's black. There's no way he was the what? Huh? I was under what? Oh man, it's just a narrative that I hate people spewing it out. And listen, you know what? That's one thing that I do notice, because Trump's been doing his rounds around the black vote. He's been working for it. He really has. He's been putting in that work for it. He's been around. That's never something that he brings up, that narrative, because that is a narrative that you hear from Democrats, black and white. That narrative, sometimes they say, we got to work twice as hard. Sometimes they say they got to work 10 times as hard. You didn't hear Trump say that once. Treated the black people that he spoke in front of like Americans. Americans that he was working for their vote. He understands that it's the black community, but never brought up that they were lesser than. But that's directly what you're doing when you say things like that. You're saying, I know that you're lesser than in society and that you have to work so hard just to inch up. Like, huh? Your vice president's black, supposedly. I'm not gonna get into it. Okay, I got a Caribbean bloodline, and I don't know. I got a dad that's Jamaican. I don't know. She might just be Indian. That's a thing. I got to look into it. I don't know. Don't call me Trump now. This might be like a Trump Obama thing where I'm questioning her, but I don't know. Apparently she's black. Allegedly, I'll say that. But yeah, it's just an odd narrative to keep bringing up, man. It's 2024 and people are still talking like that. Two black people's faces. So wild. And this crowd that he has in front of him is just, or behind him, sorry, so bought and paid for. I mean, these women are shaking the signs even when they're not, even when he hasn't said anything. They're just shaking the sign. It's so nuts. It's so nuts. And to hear them screaming over the things he's saying, I'm not going to sit here and act like there aren't black people who like Biden and endorse Biden. I won't act like that, okay? There obviously is. But the amount of screams that I'm hearing, the volume that I'm hearing for things like, I'm going to tell the truth. Like, what? I don't know, man. He's not really saying anything too impactful, but to each their own. This is the Biden crowd. This is how they feel, obviously. Let's get into the next clip. Talking about marijuana. Of course, in front of the black crowd, you got to talk about marijuana.
Kamala says there's some school down in Washington. Anyway, HBCUs are incredible institutions, but they don't have the same endowments as other universities to fund research centers and do so much more. Because you voted, I kept my commitment. We're investing $16 billion, the most ever in the history of America. $16 billion. We'll grow America. We'll save America money. A promise made and a promise kept. I'm keeping my promises that no one should be in jail merely for using and possessing marijuana. I pardoned thousands of people incarcerated for mere possession of marijuana. Thousands. A promise made and a promise kept, and for the record should be expunged as well, I might add. Folks, it wasn't easy to get a lot of this done. In fact, obstacles every step of the way we faced. For example, Senate Republicans blocked the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, but didn't stop me from signing a historic executive order requiring key elements of that bill for federal enforcement. That is, banning chokeholds, greatly restricting no-knock warrants, creating databases for police misconduct, and so much more. But we're still, and we did it with the support of George Floyd's family, and we're going to finally get it all done. A promise made and a promise kept.
Promise made and the promise kept. I made it harder for the police to do their jobs, you understand? So your communities that have gang members in them and all sorts of stuff like that, that's going to flourish. And then they'll have the marijuana for you guys. And you guys won't get locked up for the marijuana, you understand? I understand what you guys need. And you need marijuana. Now, me and Kamala have locked up countless black people. We've locked up countless black people with the things that we've done. Kamala more than me. And that's pretty impressive. But the thing about it is, we're going to get you off. We're going to get you off this time. Don't worry about it. Your uncle who's been in jail for 15 years because of Kamala Harris, don't worry about it. We're going to get him out. Maybe. Eventually. I don't know. Oh, Kamala's the one that locked him up. Kamala's the one. She's the one that locked him up. They're both the people who locked up the most black people. You cannot argue it whatsoever. Out of Trump versus Biden, or Trump and his vice president versus Biden and his vice president, Biden is responsible for locking up far more, not even far more. Trump has zero. Trump is responsible for locking up 0 black people. Biden is responsible for locking up tens of thousands of black people. You could fill a prison. Kamala did. Kamala's like, that prison? I'll fill it up. Don't worry about it. It's empty now. Yeah. You better hire some people. I'm going to get them all on marijuana charges. Yep. Oh my God. I mean, look into that track record if you don't know already. A promise made and a promise kept. I made it so police can't do chokeholds anymore. That appeals to black people, right? You guys, that's your main concern? Yes? Chokeholds. The police can't do chokeholds on you anymore. So when you're walking down the street with your marijuana, that's his picture of black people. Listen, we can get you some insulin so you can eat your soul food. And when you light your marijuana afterwards, the police won't choke you too bad. Hey, man. Hey, this is uncalled for. Get off the stage. Sir, get off the stage. This is too much. You can all be a bunch of corn pops just walking around. But hey, listen, it's all right. Me and Elon Musk are going to figure it all out. Here's Elon Musk right here. Sir, that is Kamala Harris. Oh, Kamala Harris. You're the one that cleans up here? Huh? She's my what? Huh? Oh my God. I've made a grave mistake. Thought that was Barack. Anyway, listen, I may not do the best Biden impression, but I make sure it's damn funny. Let's get into the next clip. Black houses being priced lower, of course. I gotta say, this stuff's borderline offensive that he's talking about here, man.
And I'm going to get it reinstated in the second term. Folks, Trump continues to lie by saying black unemployment was at a record low on his watch. The fact is, record low unemployment happened on my watch, and we're going to keep it going. Black small businesses are starting up at a faster rate in 30 years because of what we've done. The racial wealth gap is the lowest it's been in 20 years because of our efforts. A promise made and a promise kept. I announced the most significant housing plan in 50 years. It includes first-time home buyers tax credit, building millions of affordable housing to bring rents down. New data shows 40% cut in the gap between home appraisals in majority white communities versus those of color, communities of color. You know, the same exact builder on either side of 95 build the same houses. If it's a black community, it's lower, the value from the very day it's built ends up being lower than the exact same house across the highway in the white community. We're doing everything we can to right that wrong. And guess what? We're taking on corporate greed.
Let me tell you something. My builder friend, okay, he builds two sets of houses either side of the highway. The ones for the black people, they're lower. They're always from the day that they're built. They're designated as black houses. You guys don't know about that. In the white community, that's what we do. We designate them as black houses. They're lower. We make white houses, and the prices are nice and high. That's how we do it. What? Huh? Hold on a second. Are you sure? That's how it works? The black houses, he said from the day they're built, they're lower priced. Hey, how does the builder know? Builder's like, is this going to a white family or a black family? Black family, we think. All right. Hey, guys, use 20% less screws. What? This thing's going to fall down in 5 years. It's fine. What are you talking about? Here's my plan for the housing crisis. We're going to have black people move into all the houses, and all the prices are going to go down because that's what you blacks do. You guys make the prices of houses go down. And that's going to fix everything because then some whites can move in, buy it for a lower price. Everything's fixed. You get a house for a little while. They get a house for a little while. That's Bidenomics. That's Bidenomics. That's Bidenomics 101, baby. 4 more years. And you know what? It's funny. He's talking about Trump. He's talking about the lowest unemployment. Unless Joe Biden started his presidency in May 2018, then I don't think that I'm positive it's May 2018. Trump had the percentage go down to, I believe, 5.8, maybe 5.9. And that was the record low. So that did not happen during Biden's administration. He did inherit some good things. He inherited a good economy. He inherited a very low percentage. That percentage may have, by the time it hit 2020, it went up, but that's because of the whole pandemic. And then something called, I think the jobs are called bounce back jobs, because it gets a big hit because everybody can't work. So now these percentages all of a sudden go way up. And then what ends up happening is everybody goes back to work. And that's what Biden inherits. So Trump, at the end of his presidency, sees this terrible economy because of COVID. And then Biden inherits that, and everything bounces back because everything just goes back online. And now it's seen as like, oh, no, the economy's doing great. It's like, no. It's actually doing terrible. You're doing a terrible job. Oh, geez. I just switched clips. Look at him. He probably... he probably clued into where he was. He just like snapped out. He was in a daze, snapped out of it. He's like, ah, all these black people. Barack, they found me. Barack. They're everywhere. They're behind me. They got signs with my name on them. Oh my God. Oh man, just stupid jokes, guys. They're just dumb jokes. Just trying to lighten the mood, man. It's a dark time for America. Dark time since the president of the United States to be got arrested, or not got arrested, got found guilty. It's going to be sentenced. Absolutely ridiculous. But let's get into this last clip. This is where he talks about that gentleman, Donald J. Trump. Let's go.
And we will make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again. It's within our power to do this. MAGA extremists ban books. Did you ever think, if you're anybody over 30 years old, you'd go through a period where banning books in America? They're trying to erase black history. We're going to write black history because it's American history. It's American history. Together we make history, not erase it. To me, the values of diversity, equality, inclusion are literally, and that's not kidding, the core strengths of America. That's why I'm proud to have the most diverse administration in history. It taps into the full talents of our country. And starts at the top with the Vice President. On Memorial Day, I proudly stood with a black man, the highest order, the first black Secretary of Defense, second black Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, black women heads of military units. We're overseeing the most diverse, strongest fighting force in the history of the world. And folks, the threat that Trump poses is greater in his second term than his first. It's clear that when he lost in 2020, something literally snapped in the sky. No, I'm serious. That's why January 6th happened, when he unleashed an insurrection. Now, he's running again, and he's clearly unhinged. He calls insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol patriots. Patriots. If reelected, he wants to pardon, quote, every one of them. Let me ask you, what do you think he would have done on January 6th if black Americans had stormed it? Think about this. What do you think would have happened if black Americans had stormed the Capitol? I don't think he'd be talking about pardons. It's the same guy who wanted to tear gas you as you peacefully protested George Floyd's murder. The same guy who still calls the Central Park Five guilty, even though they were exonerated. He's that landlord who denies housing applications because of the color of your skin. He's that guy who won't say Black Lives Matter and invokes neo-Nazi Third Reich terms. We all remember Trump is the same guy who unleashed birthism, the birthism lie against Barack. And then Trump tells you he's the greatest president. I love this one. He says he's the greatest president for black people in the history of America, including more than Abraham Lincoln. I mean, can you fathom that?
That's amazing. See, these little things that he's doing. What do you think he would have done if the January 6th protesters were black? I know what he would have done. Because black people get treated so much worse. And you would know what he would have done. It's such a wild mindset to go down, you know? Oh, if it was you, if it was black people, oh man, he would have done so much worse to those. He wouldn't have, there'd be no pardons, man. He would have done terrible things to you guys. Like, you're literally trying to scare them into position at that point. You know what I mean? Like, at least do it, you know what I mean? You had insulin. You got insulin. Like, keep championing that. I don't know, but to act like, oh yeah, Trump would have done horrible things. If they were insurrectionists, which they're not, because he even called them protesters. If you notice, he didn't call them. They're insurrectionists when he needed to put them into a bad light, but when he tried to shed the light on them possibly being black, they turned into protesters. Funny how that works. But even if they were, what do you think Trump would have done? I think Trump would have done the exact same thing. Like, is there even a conversation to be had? If Trump said, go peacefully to a place and protest, and all black people showed up, he'd be like, what the? He'd be like, my people. He would have been like, this is amazing. It's all black people. Hey, President Trump, it's all black people that actually came to your defense. What? Huh? All of them? Really? Oh, you would have done so much worse. He would have been like, oh my God, you guys are, I didn't even know you guys felt that way. I didn't know you guys felt that way. This is, oh my God, I'm going to pardon everybody. Trust me. Of course, it'd be the same reaction. Like, it's just, there's no logic to what he's saying. It's just all fear mongering. That's what this whole campaign's been based on. It's been based on locking somebody up and fear mongering as much as possible. It's absolutely wild. But just wanted to keep it light with everybody. I just saw this whole talk that he did, and I sat through the whole thing. Unlike you guys didn't have to, but I did. And just when you see what they're trying to do throughout this whole campaign, it's wild. This guy's talking about having so much inclusion. At Memorial Day, I saw at least 5 black people. There was one on the side of me. There was another on the left of me. I look back. There's one behind me. I didn't even check for my wallet. Okay? I didn't even check for my wallet, guys. One of them was Mike Tyson. I have the most inclusive cabinet you could ever think of. I have Andrew Jackson. He's in my cabinet. JFK. He's in my cabinet. Okay? Elon Musk. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's in my cabinet. He's not? What do you mean? Huh? Who are you? It's Kamala Harris, apparently she says her name is. Look at her. She's black. She's wearing pants. Come on. What's more inclusive than this? I got men wearing dresses, ladies wearing pants. Elon Musk is somewhere building me rockets. A promise made, a promise kept. Just no pants on. He just has no pants on. He steps away from the podium, no pants on the whole time. A promise made, a promise kept. Oh, man. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know what to say about this whole thing, man. At the end of the day, I keep bringing it up every episode. It's a very dark time, man. And I hope everybody's praying for President Trump. Hope everybody knows what to do. If you can't donate, all good. It's not something that you have to do, but people have been doing it like crazy. I'll make an episode about that. People are crashing the website. It's going down so bad. Like, it's going down, and the donation, buddy, they're donating like crazy. But keep the prayers up, because if this goes through, it sets a bad precedent. It sets a really bad precedent. I'm not somebody who sits back and says, "Oh, I can't wait for it to happen to the Democrats." You don't want this to be happening, because if it starts happening to presidents, it's gonna start happening to senators and congressmen and mayors, and only the worst of the worst. And I know you feel like it's already this way, but only the worst of the worst, and people who are 10 times more corrupt than anything you've seen currently will be in these positions, and it will be really bad. It will trickle down into society in a way that we can't even imagine. That's why I did episodes covering what's going on in Brazil, because it will get to that extent, to where journalists have to seek political asylum in other countries. It will get there if this goes through. It's really bad. Anyways, guys, ending on a real high note here. Anyway, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Turn on the notifications. It helps the channel tremendously. Other than that, I'm out.